All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. House Edge Live with John from Pro Craps here on Casino Gaming TV. For the time being, we're, as you know, in the middle of moving stuff around. I'm sorry, I got my screen getting set up here. We're moving stuff around a little bit here. The new channel is already set up. It was Pro Craps. Now it's called Casino Gaming Central. Still has the Pro Craps logo on it. The artiste is getting the logo ready for us, so we'll have, hopefully by next week, maybe, depends. I'm going to be gone for the weekend, so I'm not going to be paying attention. But next week, we should have a logo done. I can finish up my table design, and then we can get the table back out there rebuilt. We'll have a roulette felt, a blackjack felt, a baccarat felt, as well as the craps felt, all coming at once, which is fantastic. So I can do all of it. We'll actually have the show where it should be. I'll be out there in the studio instead of here in the little tiny office that I got doing the shows. It'll be a little more professional than what we're doing now, but that's okay. We'll make the big switch all at once, and it'll be fun. I expect to do on that show, by the way, some of the old stuff. I'm going to bring back Deli Paycheck. We'll probably call that the coffee run, right? That's what this show used to be called. But I'm going to call it the coffee run. We're going to go out there in the mornings, and we're just going to go, grab our Java and, play whatever game we feel like playing that day and make our money. And I'll showcase the use of the Nexus app, of course. I'll be using that to track everything. We'll go through the bridge concepts and all that kind of stuff. So it should be, I think, pretty cool. And we're just getting this close to it. It's just like things are coming together finally. It's been a weird pathway to get there, but we're going. Anyway, let's jump into today's show. And of course, we're going to go through some bridge concepts again today. And one of the things I want to keep harping on, right, has been this bankroll risk profiling thing. Today, though, what I want to look at a little bit more about identify. I want to dive into the I a little bit of bridge. And we've been talking together for 5 years now. Now, some of you don't know that. If you're watching this for the first time, maybe you don't know. I've had a channel called Pro Craps for 4 years, and I had this channel for 3.5 years now, I think. I've done about 1,500 videos, and across all of them, we've talked about different strategies, different plays, different styles, different this, different that. And it may seem repetitive, but at the end of the day, what you end up with is what we're going to talk about today a little bit, which is a toolkit of things you can use to employ when you identify when it's time to run for the hills, to lean into something hot, right? Or get your shit back together after you broke it, right? So the identify part of the bridge to me is pretty important too, right? You have to have bankroll to survive, leverage your wins, handle your losses. You have to understand how you view risk, but the identify piece helps you know what to do when it's time to do it and ways you can employ to get it done, right? So here we go. What's on my mind today is this idea of a gambler's toolkit. And, I've talked in the past about, pardon me, this kind of 3 ways, or this 3-step play, right? I used to use a baseball analogy: get them on, get them over, get them in, right? So something short and sweet that gets you up enough, right? Or gets you even. And I'll show you a couple of plays down here on the table that kind of fit that bill. Things that are simple and quick that gets your money back off the table so you can take the next step, whatever the next step may be for you, right? It could be to go home. The next step could be to save money for later so that you can have an all-in kind of push for the hills kind of a session, right? And every game is different in that regard. I think that we have to realize that a lot of times I talk craps because it's my favorite game, but in all the games, that's a little different vibe. You follow what I'm saying? Like, if I earned, let's just give an example, $25 7 times in a row, or let's say 8 times in a row, win $25. I have $200 to play with. Well, in most games, blackjack, baccarat, roulette maybe not, but blackjack and baccarat for sure, that $200 is meaningful, right? You can, take your initial bankroll to the side. You can pocket $100, take the $100 and just lean in. And that $100 you can lean in, depending where you are, 10 times. You can have 10 cracks at a 6-leg, right? And craps different, right? You win $200, that might mean one shot at 160 across, and that's got to be the shooter, otherwise you're going to lose the whole thing. It's different, right? But these paycheck style plays, these boring style plays, are ways that can set you up to walk away or dive into something. Okay. Then you've got this idea, and we talked about it yesterday, these recovery plays, right? Some people play as their paycheck play a negative progression, like Waylon does, right? Some kind of a ladder system. But honestly, the ladders are great for recovery. It was brought up in chat yesterday, and I have to agree wholeheartedly. A negative progression is a good way to get out of it, right? You lose a few hands, or you lose, maybe I'll switch to a little ladder here for a minute, and I'll ladder up a couple times, get a parlay, and come on back. And then we'll take a breath and kind of reset and go for what you were going to try for in the first place, right? Because the negative progressions typically don't win you paychecks or enough money to really kind of go, but they're great at grinding out and surviving shit until you get ready to rock and roll, right? Aggressive progressions can also be a good recovery, by the way. You don't always have to go negative. You can switch into, like I do, that 1, 3, 2, 4 on the line. As boring as that is, that's a great way to recover because you're betting so low. You're like, oh, I'm getting my ass tore up over here. Let me come down to a low level. Let's stop getting beat. Let's go something small. Take a breath, wait it out, grab a little parlay action or something, or some aggressive little action off of a small bet that can get you a stack back that you might have lost earlier, and now you can take that second breath and go back into paycheck mode, right? You can bounce around these things a little bit, and I think the good player knows when to, or feels when to, play for the paycheck and walk, play for the paycheck and spend the paycheck, or lose on the way, get into recovery mode for a minute, and then come back. Now, I have made this argument before that recovery plans, we'll talk more about this later, but recovery plans can also be paycheck plans, right? They're intermingled in there, but it comes down to you. And then, of course, you got your hammers, right? Your hammers for your excess, for your fun money, for your experimental money, that kind of thing, right? Skill and Luck says, yeah, Jacob has his toolkit from long ago. We all talk about the toolkits, right? And you all have toolkits. You should have them, right? You've watched me long enough. You've watched Jacob long enough. You watched Jeff and Gargoyle. They're talking about recovery next time. You've got all these great online friends and online instructors that are showing you things. You should all have a toolkit. What I want you to do is start categorizing your plays into what they're good at, right? Ken and Waylon talk a lot about this on their kind of joint shows, which is like, what is this strategy good for? It's designed to be a slow runner, right? It's designed to grind out a paycheck. It's designed to be a quick hit and out. It's designed to be a recovery thing. Know what your ways of playing are good at, right? And lean into that when the time is right to lean into that. That's kind of the putting all the pieces together, so to speak, right? So that's your essential, your toolkit thing. Now let's talk about some of these things. Right, the paycheck play styles, right? I call these like the up and outs, like the get in, get out kind of thing, right? Hit your goal, get out. Define your goal, have some kind of an exit strategy with it. And then you can rinse and repeat. You can carve it out and reinvest, or you can evaluate your play. Let me actually hit the table here with this and walk you through a couple of them. And I think you know what some of these things are before I even say it, but let's just jump in and let me move this over just a little bit here. And let's look at a few of them, right? And we'll start with kind of the classic. Let me get I guess I could use my rack, I suppose, right? Don't need a lot in the rack today. I'll just do $75. We'll do two. I'll do these two. The first one we'll do is a skill 66, which you've seen a million times, all right? Let me grab $75 out of here. We're going to do a 66 inside play. And again, it's a nice, simple little strategy that you've seen me do a bunch. But 66 from 75 is going to be $9 and change, which we'll put up here in the front of the rack. Again, this is the money that I got. I got to make the front of the rack look like $75, right? Again, rack management's a thing. Make the front of your rack look like $75. I'm going to show you a craps way to do this right now. So we go 66 inside. And remember, paycheck play. This is not an extended play. I'm going to show you how to do this paycheck style, which means I'm in and I'm out. Hit the goal and get out. There's your 66 inside. It's 15, 15, 18, 18. It adds up to $66, okay? Any one of those bets wins, it pays $21. There's your 21. I'll put it up top there, okay? With the 21, you add $1 from your rack. Now you have 22. and you can press each of those bets by 1 unit. So it looks like, now it looks like 88 inside. 2020, 24, 24, $88. Okay. On the next hit of a number, any one of them pays $28, right? What I typically do here is say 30 for 2. I'll drop $2 and say 30 for 2 and bring me down. So here's my $2. There's the 30. Bring it all down. When I bring it all down, I'm going to bring it down as color so you can see where we are. Okay, I'm going to bring it down as colors. There's our bets that are out there. There's $25. There's 25. There's 25. Look at that. There's $75. Okay, bing, bing, bing. That's what you started with, right? That was the $75 that we kind of rolled into this hand with. I can take that right now and put that back, which means everything else that I have here was earned by the move. Okay, earned by the move. 25, 30, 40, 45, $49, effectively $50. Okay, let's call it 50. Let's borrow $1 from Jen, who's our next door neighbor, and let's call this $50. There's 40, there's 9. Again, we'll call it, I'll trade this in, plus $1 from my neighbor, we'll call it $50. Okay, so that move wins you $50 as a paycheck play. It's a 2-hit paycheck. Now again, $50 may not be enough for you to leave, but if we went 660 inside for you big bankroll guys and did the same thing from 660 to 880 and down, this is 500, not 50. Okay, so do a little bit of math with me here and play along. As a paycheck play, that's fine, right? If you're in super small bankroll mode, trying to build up a bigger stash, that might be your GTFO number. I made $50 today on that shooter. I started with 75. I made 50. I didn't use all 75, but I started with it at least, right? So I got 2/3 of my money back. That's a pretty good little win rate right there, right? Get out, right? My goal is 50. My exit strategy is to leave at 50. Potentially, my exit strategy might be this. I might say, rinse and repeat. Put a new 75 out there, right? Take this back, go 75, do the move again. On the same shooter if you want to, on the next shooter if you want, whatever you want to, right? Rinse and repeat is an option for you. You know you made $50. If you rinse and repeat, the next time you do it, because you made $50, it cost you $18 to give it a shot. That's leveraging your bankroll, right? When you leverage your win to make the next move, you're going to take a shot with $18 at risk to win another $50. Huh? That's pretty cool if you think about rinse and repeat that way, right? You could also protect your initial stash, take your $50, take $25 as maybe potentially play money, $25 locked up, carve it out, reinvest some into your master bankroll, go home with an extra $25, take $25 and do a $12 6 and 8 and play along, or do something different with it, right? This is your sort of in-session reinvestment. Or you can just look at everything else and say, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to take my money, I'm going to go home and make my bank account bigger. Or take the $50 and play it. Do a little 4 and 10. Run for the hills, right? Do a little 5 and 9, run for the hills. Take a little 6 and 8, go 44 inside. You have money to play with here, right? That earns you something. But the style of play, couple of hits and get the hell out of there, gives you money to play with. When I talk about the 1, 3, 2, 4 all the time, let's move this rack up here, okay? We'll take the same 110 because we'll actually show you some more strategies here, right? But if I do a little 1, 3, 2, 4, look at what this does. Paycheck style play, right? We put on the pass line or the don't pass, doesn't matter, okay? Let's pretend we have an okay little run. Let's pretend we have this run. You win 1 unit because you got to come out 7. And you take that and you add 1 to it. Right, there's your 1 to 3. When the 3-unit bet wins, dig what happens. Here's the 2 units that you used to get into that thing. There's your 110 back in your rack, and you've earned a paycheck of $100. 4-unit win there, right? That's literal profit for you, okay? Literal profit. That's not bad. You have now 4 cracks or 2 cracks at doing it again. You can leverage that win to try that same move, win 1 and stack 1 2 times effectively for free. It's a paycheck play. Or, you know what? I turn 25 into 100 and I'm going the hell home. Not a bad strategy either. Okay? Paycheck plays are simple, boring, but they're effective at winning a couple of units here and there. And then you have your decision points. Okay? Again, key path for reinvestment, grow your bankroll, play with half. You can take that as nickels, right? And take 5 cracks at doing it again with a 2-unit bet instead of with a green unit bet. You have lots of choices here, right? That's a paycheck style. Those kind of strategies are good, simple, set you up for later kind of strategy. They get out quick, couple of hits, and you're done. Up here, couple of hits, and we're done. If you do the 110 inside regression, couple of hits, and you're done. Okay? The key is, what do you do when you're done? When you make the $100 on the 1-3, when you make, or the 4 units on the 1-3, when you make your $50 in the skill 66, when you take your 110 inside, right? Now check this one out. 110 inside. Let's say we get one. Let's say we get a 9, right? The 9 hits and it comes down to $10. And the 5 hits and it comes down and becomes $10. Guess what? In 2 hits, I've made $100. I started with 110. I got 100. I got 195% of my money back. Guess what? Bye-bye, right? That might be your trigger. There's my $110 back in the rack, right? There's $120 that I have out here to monkey around with, right? That might be 50% lock, $70 play. That might be a $100 lock or $75 lock, and I'll play 44 inside with the rest. You have lots of options there, right? That's a paycheck, right? Simple move. 2 hits, 3 hits, whatever it's going to be, and you're done. Defined goal. The exit strategy is, and again, rinse and repeat. If you're ahead, you can carve it out, reinvest it. You can level it up, whatever you want to. That's your first session. Now, your second type of plays are what we talked about yesterday. That's these recovery. What happens when it doesn't work? What happens when the 110 didn't work, right? And I'm down to, let's say in my rack, I'm down to $75. Let's say I start out with $200, right? And I've got whatever, 110 out there. There's the 110, 125, and there's $200. That's what I got. And I'm down to like my last little bit. What do we do? Right? You can switch. When this goes away, you go, God, that sucked, right? I can't go 110 again. Maybe it's too risky. Maybe it's too much of my bankroll out there at risk. Maybe that's when you switch to a ladder, a short-term ladder, a $10 pass line ladder, or a $10 410 ladder, right? Maybe this is the time to grab the 4 and 10, and you've got $50, $60, $70, $80, $90, right? 9 cracks at it, or 5 cracks at it, to ladder this thing up, grab a hit on a 10, right? 10 hits for, again, we'll call it $20, right? Go to 30, 30 pays 60, right? And you're out, right? You're back again, right? You've got, $70, $80 of your 100 back, right? That's the idea. Switch out, go to a ladder. Go to a $10 pass line ladder for a while and work the pass line or the don't pass, whatever it's going to be. Simple, 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 right? Do something simple, negative progressions, leveraging wins to get out of it, right? You could also do it my way, right? You could do a progression, right? Take the little bit of money that you got left in your rack when you get beat up here and go $10 pass line progression. Do a 1, 3, 2, 4 down here. Do a 1, 3, 2, 4 down here. Maybe make 9 or 8 or 7 $10 units. Get yourself back to health and then go again. You can go from tiny to big and look for a run safely. That's a way to recover after a loss. You don't have to always go back out with what you had and try and try. Where you burn is same betting. Oh, let's try it again. Oh, let's try it again. Oh, let's try it again. And here goes your bankroll. It goes to 0, right? Just recast the same old thing. If you just try the same move every single time, these guys that say try it 10 times and whatever, that's where the bankrolls go away. That's where you burn it up. I think recasting it or same betting your way because you're scared is the wrong thing. I think you progress or you go negative down here. So that's, I think, where Again, some recovery plans that you already know about may work. Leverage plays work great in recovery, right? A leverage play means simply this, right? If you're going to lose and ladder up and win 20, instead of laddering down, leverage the win and go to a $40 bet and take the $40 win with what you earned on the first one and get back your initial loss there plus your loss up here. Leveraging wins, I think, is where people get scared when they're down. Not leveraging wins when they're down is a big problem. I think people try and same bet out of it because they have too little bankroll. Anyway, that's a look at recovery. And then, of course, you get into the fun shit, right? Your hammers and your nails. If you can leverage your wins when you're ahead, then you get some interesting ways to play when you're ahead. These things, the ones that you see on Color Up, the ones that you see me do sometimes, the Triple Lux, the Philly Special, all these like press to the ceiling kind of plays are plays that you make when you're up or when you're at least even. Coming out the door playing these things is a big problem. But when you're here and you're winning, leveraging a win in something like this is an enormous thing. I'm going to show you again. Ken did a 1-3-2-4 show the other day, and I want to show you something along with the 1-3-2-4. I'm going to get some extra chips out here. I need to get some blacks because we're going to make some blacks, right? Now watch this. I'm going to show you how to leverage your wins. Okay, let's take the rack up here. Pardon me. Still recovering from that cold and the smoke and stuff. All right, let's do a 1-3-2-4 green chip level. Okay, let's pretend that we have a great run. Now again, I'm doing it in craps because it's what I have. I want you to pretend this is your $25 bet on a blackjack table, or on red, black, odd, or even in roulette, or on a baccarat table. Okay, this is any 50-50 style bet. Okay, you can do it in the field if you're crazy enough. But let's just go. Watch what I'm going to do here. We're going to take a 2-unit investment. Okay, we have 2 units in our rack. That's all we have. We're going to go boom, pass line, and we'll say that it wins, and we add the 1. There's the 1 to 3. 3 wins, 3, and we regress down to 2. That's the 1-3. Now, the nice thing about that move on its own, your money's back, and you have 2 units in locked up profit in your rack. You have 4 units total if you want to walk, but you have 2 units there, right? Let's say the 2 wins, and you go 1-3, down to 2, up to 4. If the 4-unit bet wins, I'll pay it in black, right? You're done with the move, right? The move works. I'm just going to make that a black chip also, okay? You're done with the move. You have 2 black chips. Here's what you do, or what you can do to leverage your win. You can put the black out there in profit. Your next one is that same black where you left off. You left off on a black, right? Your 1-3-2-4, stay at 4. That's your new 1. 4 is your new 1. Now you got 150 in profit plus your money back. Watch what happens. 1 wins. You add part of your profit back to it. Now it's a 3-unit win or 3-unit bet. 1-3 again. When that 3 wins, it's 3 blacks and it's down to 2 blacks. And look at what happened to your bankroll, right? You leverage some of your win to really hammer the streak. Here comes 2 stacked up. Here comes 4. Now this right here is a miracle. This is an 8-stroke parlay. It's 1-3-2-4, 1-3-2-4. It's 8 in a row. Ever seen 8 reds in a row? Ever won 8 hands in blackjack in a row? You ever won 8 players or bankers in a row in baccarat? It happens, right? But after the first 3, right? We went 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3. After that first one, all of that happened on wins. None of that happened from your bankroll because your bankroll was saved after the very second hit, right? After the second hit, the 1 to the 3, hit it, I'm locking up, and everything else here is done with a leveraged profit play. You follow? That's how you hammer the casino with the nail that they gave you. That's what you do, right? You want to run something more normal, air quotes. Let's do this. Let's go 100 and 125. We have 150 in the rack. Okay, let's check this out. Let's say we have a pass line and the point is 6 and we go max odds behind the 6. Okay, what does that pay? That pays 25 here. It pays 1.5 here. Okay, we'll need more money in our rack because watch, we're going to go from 1 to 3. And that comes back in our rack. And that's a pretty good little win for the pass line with odds guys, right? The guys that only play house edge, right? Pass line max odds, right? Check this out. Okay, when the point becomes an 8 this time, right? You can go 5x, 125 per green, right? So there's 2, you have to drop another 125. So your rack is going to be the initial 125 you needed to get out the first time, and then another 125 when you press up on the 3. You need 250 to pull this move off, by the way. Okay? When I say this, and I mean this legitimately, the guys that play the low house edge, pass line max odds, they're not gambling. They're not at risk. There's a big bankroll requirement to do this, but check it out. 1-3, if this happens to win, only 2 points get hit, right? If you're willing to do it. 75 on your flat, and this over here, each one of these pays 150. That's a 450. 450 bucks on that 3 win, and now you come back to 2 and look at your bankroll. Here we go. There's the initial 125. There's the second 125. Your bankroll is recovered, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 75 in profit on the 3. We haven't gotten to the full press of the 2 yet. You follow me? This becomes again $250 behind, and then it becomes $100 with $500 behind. Shooter makes 4 or 5 points, which happens. You leverage your win. When do you do this? You don't do this when all you have left in your rack is $125, right? That's not the time to do this. The time you do that is when you're ahead and you're trying to use your wins as a hammer, leveraging your money, okay? Playing things like that on other games, same thing, okay? Being more aggressive. We talked about, like, let's take another blackjack example. Let's say you're playing blackjack at the green level. Right? You need deep pockets. I'm telling you, the guys that play pass line max odds, and I've watched guys do this. I saw a guy with pass line max odds and a cum bet with max odds, right? And that's all he did, what I just showed you. But he would just go 1 unit. He would press it by 1, okay? That guy had $5,000 in the rack, and there was times where he had, you know, a purple chip out here with 5x odds behind it. You need deep pockets to play that way. Those guys that play that way, they're not playing scared. They're the how do I say this right? The annoying guys, I think, are playing scared, right? But the guys that actually have some money that do this can make some hay. All right. Now, where's I going to go with this? I was going to go with. I lost my train of thought because I saw the question out there in chat. I think I was going to go with blackjack on this one. Shoot, I lost it. I forget now. Oh, it doesn't matter, I guess. I think you get the point of leveraging the win to make the hay. But again, when do you do this? You use the hammers and nails, the big plays, when you're up, when you're even, when Ken will tell you this, right? When you're in your excess envelope, right? You're not coming out triple Lux or Philly Special or tier pressure, right? Those aggressive plays out of your bank. You don't go to the ATM machine, come out and try triple Lux. You just don't, right? You do other things. You make your paycheck. You recover if you lose. You get yourself in a position to play these things, right? And then you play these things hard when you get that chance to do it, okay? Oh, I know what it's going to show. It's going to show you this other betting pattern, this white, red betting pattern. Let's just go, again, we'll take blackjack, okay? Let's do a press, collect on here. Again, aggressive pattern, right? You get a win and you press it. You get a win and you press it. You get a win here and you finally collect, but you stay here. Now you're at a black chip, right? That was 1, 2, 3 hits. And then you get 1 hit, press. The next hit, press. The next hit, collect. 500 to the rack. And again, you're press, collect, press, collect. At 6 hits, $500, 5 units in, or 4 units in profit. One your original, 4 in profit, 4 in play. Right? This is leveraging wins. This is using your profits as the nail or as the hammer. The profit, the chip is the nail. You're the hammer here, right? That's a way to hammer it when you're in a position to swing. I think people swing too early. When I look back at what we talked about here, your gambler's toolkit, right? That style of play is fun and cool. It looks great on camera, right? It's fun to talk about. That's not how you come out and make a paycheck. That's what you do after you've made your paycheck. After you've got your paycheck and you have some excess, now it's time to go hammer. If you want to, or you can just build it up. If your paycheck play falls short, get into recovery mode. Normally, the way that you earn your paycheck is not a great way to recover from loss. Most paycheck plays are a lot of money to win a little bit, right? That way is going to crush you if you try and win the paycheck, a paycheck loss, by making more paychecks. You got to go into recovery mode to get that back. You have to. And I think that's just the experience and wisdom talking there, all right? So let me head back over to here, and we'll get to some questions and stuff. I want to go back to this view here. Okay, there we go. We did table time. Let's go to some questions. I'm going to look in the comments here and see what we have out there. I need my keyboard and my mouse. Again, I apologize for my voice and for the sniffles here. This smoke is not going away, and my cold's not going away. I can't seem to kind of catch up here. So, all right. So, interesting stuff here, right? Ken, boredom versus broke. I love it. Skill says sounds like a half press, right? It's really not. That 1, 3, 2, 4 is not really a half press, because you're going to power press and then regress, and then it's a full parlay before a collect, and then you level up, right? It's a little bit different, but again, when you look at all these plays that we talk about, and I gave it this lecture last week. I'm not sure if you saw it, Skill. Everything that we do can be defined in a numbering system. And I think we kind of forget some of that, but if I come down here, again, sorry for the stuff being away, but the 1, 3, 2, 4 is just that. It's a bet size of 1, a bet size of 3, a bet size of 2, and a bet size of 4, right? It's a 1 to 3, down to 2, up to 4. That's the pattern you follow, right? If you're going to be kind of a half presser, okay, your pattern is this. It's a 2-unit bet, right? Followed by a 3-unit bet, followed by let's call it a 4-unit bet, because you can't really do 3.5, right? Followed by a half press here would be a 6-unit bet, right? So you're going 1 or 2, 3, 4, 6, right? Your patterns follow the bet stroke. And I think if you think of it in those terms, right, you can remember where you are. And again, if you lose this one, you had previously won in here, and the profit should be in your rack. You're probably starting here, not starting here. And this, I think, is where a lot of gamblers get screwed, because they reset all the way back in here. They aren't leveraging the win. This is what Jacob does, right? When Jacob talks about stacking money in his rack for the next play, this is kind of it. Let's take a look at what I mean by that. You start at 2, right? You win 2, and let's say your next bet's going to be 2. You were going to start at 2 anyway, right? You win at 2, you half press it, and you come back to your rack. Now you're going to win at 3, right? Again, you're going to, let's say, half press your win to 4 units. Make that and save that. You're at 4. Your next bet is going to be a 6-unit bet. Take 1 and save 1. What happens here is you've got your initial 2 units back. You've got 2 units locked up in profit. If you lose in here, your next bet is this. You're starting with 5 units, what you won on the other one, and you're still retaining profit. If you want to actually lock up your first ever dollar that you put out there, you're cool. But now you're here. Now you're at 5. So when 5 wins, right, you can go up to 8 and rack 2. Now 8 becomes 12 and racking 4. And you always start from where you left off. That's a Jacob trick to leverage your stuff. But again, it's all numerical. Everything comes in a number sequence, right? The half press is 2, 3, 4 or 5, 6, 9, 30, whatever, right? Remember that those are your betting patterns. And I think All the strategies in the world come down to betting patterns. It's just on this number or this play or that play, my next bet is this amount. That's all that it is. You can call it the Mississippi choker. I don't care what you call these things, right? It's just what it is. It's just where your money goes next time. All right. Yeah, your bankroll says what you should do. And Ken says, wow, money management bankroll, will you listen? Nobody will listen. Right? Everybody wants the home run play, but there's a time to get a home run and there's a time to kind of sneak into the play. And if you sneak in and walk and sneak in and walk and sneak in and walk, then eventually you have enough money saved up that you can go out and try and play a hammer. I just don't want to see people playing hammers out of the gate. So, Not Today Craps is a new channel. Is that somebody here? Oh, Not Today Craps. What's up? Skill's been tracking on a few people that have some channels out there. I will give you some out of the not asked for advice from me. Do not do the click. I know the clickbait titles work, but please don't do it. I see a lot of new channels doing this, and it just drives me insane. Don't do the clickbait titles. If you're going to teach. If you're going to play and have fun, play and have fun. Make your channel about what it is. I think if you title your videos with what the actual video is, your thumbnail matches what the video is about, you're going to be fine as a channel, right? Don't worry about production quality and microphones and all that shit, right? Ask Ken. Ken, it literally tell iPhone over the table, turn it on and go. And he has great content. It's you that we want to see, not all the glitz and glam, right? I spend a lot of time on it because I'm a nerd, but that's just me. I think why you're here is to hear this. Hear what I got. Hopefully you're here to hear what I have to say, not see my room, right? So focus on the important things to focus on. Hope that makes sense, all right? All right, numbered patterns. Thank you, Tom, for that. Death to clickbait. I hate the clickbait. There's somebody out there put a video out that says how I got rich playing craps, and the session is like betting the 6 and 8. I mean, like those misleading titles to me. Okay, great. You get some views, you get some subscribers, but in the end of the thing, people look at the title and they go, "That's not what this was about," and they stop coming back. Like it works in a short spike, but over time, your viewership and your trust goes down. Right? You got to keep it where it is. I think that's important. Right? I'm happy to talk to 19 people a day. Fine, I don't care. It's 19 dedicated people, and we're all good. Like that's to me what it's all about, is being consistent with the messaging. So. All right, moving ahead, a couple last things here. I got a story for you. Perfection is not attainable, right? We say this for the week here, right? Our quote of the week. But if we chase perfection, we might catch excellence. Now, there's a guy, I'm not sure, I know somebody up here put in Go Cubs. Who put in Go Cubs? That's Dr. Dan, right? If you're watching baseball at all, hopefully you watched the Mariners game last night, right? Of course I did. Nobody cares about the Mariners and the Tigers. Like literally, like you got the Yankees and Blue Jays playing, you got the Phillies and nobody gives a shit about the Mariners, right? Just like nobody cares about the Cubs and the Brewer series. It's like, what? They're playing too? Like nobody cares. But Cal Raleigh, our catcher, Seattle's catcher, the big dumper, they call him, right? He's got 60 home runs on the regular season. So even though it's postseason, doesn't count. It's still, anyway, he's looking for his 61st home run. Yesterday, he hit it. He's in Detroit, hits number 61 on the year, and this guy in the crowd is wearing a shirt, which you probably can't see, the first thing. It says, dump 61 here. So again, it's big dumper, dump your 61st here. This guy actually catches the home run. And like in Detroit, there's like 50 Mariners fans in Detroit. This guy catches the home run, finds this guy in the stands, right? He catches the 61st. He's got the dump 61 here. He takes off his shirt and he's got a dump 62 here shirt underneath of it. And if you look under that shirt, he has a dump 63. The guy literally made these 3 shirts in his living room, flew to Detroit to wear them in the stands, and caught a freaking home run. Legendary, right? And again, bet on yourself, I put as a note there, but he chased perfection and didn't quite get the perfect run. But guess what? That was a pretty excellent, legendary deal that he pulled off there. He got to meet Cal Raleigh after the game. He got a signed bat and stuff. Anyway, legendary move by this guy, chasing perfection. I can't believe, who does that? That's like one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. That's so cool. Anyway, we're going to work through some more of the stuff we saw today. We're going to work this comparison of house edge versus odds of winning. Maybe that'll be tomorrow's show. We'll see. And then, reminder, of course, that we have the raffle items are still there. So Craps for the Cure 2025, crapsforthecure.com. Go there, grab your $50 raffle tickets for the Felts from Gargoyle, from the Access Power Crap Seminar, or the Absinthe Show in Vegas. If you're going to Vegas, I know Vegas Day Tripper goes to Vegas every other day, it seems like. Why don't you put $50 on this and go see a show one time? Right? There you go. Y'all have a great day. Love y'all. God bless every one of you, and I will see you tomorrow. Again, tomorrow, last show of the week. I'm going to be off on Friday. We're going to be in Oregon celebrating my son's birthday. So I will see you tomorrow, and then not again until Monday. So in the meantime, have a great hump day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.